What's up with it, y'all? Polo Sports Talking ENT here again with another one. I'm gonna be with y'all on this one for quite a bit. Make sure you hit the like, hit the sub, comment, notifications, all that. Make sure you hit it all because your love to the channel is much appreciated. Look, I'm gonna talk about this for quite some time, and you can also chime in and chop it up if you want to. If not, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I'll go ahead and I'll put my $2 in on it. Now, the court just ordered Dr. Dre, and for those of y'all that don't know who Dr. Dre is, he is the man behind Beats by Dre, the headsets, and he's also legendary hip hop icon and hip hop producer, rapper, director, you name it, he's done it. Songwriter, all of that. Okay, but mainly his bread and butter was producing and making beats. But Dr. Dre is ordered to pay his ex-wife Nicole $300,000 a month in spousal support. They had been at it for quite some time because they were going through a divorce, and then in the process, Dr. Dre he had to end up going into the hospital and everything. So, and it was like once he got out of the hospital, it was like she didn't forget anything. Um, Dr. Dre has had his shortcomings without a doubt because of the abuse, the reported abuse that or abusive relationships that he had been in. Um, a lot of it is on record to have happened, and a lot of it, probably is just being blown out of way out of proportion. But either way, this right here is it's a bitter ending. There's nothing bittersweet about this situation. Dr. Dre, in my opinion, once he had made see this is what I think. Okay, I have to just be real about the whole situation. See, a lot of times, man, when you're not at the top, or a woman doesn't see you at the top at that point in time, they'll stick with you up until you get that bag. And then once you get that bag, they'll do anything in their power to try to double cross you. Now, I don't know what went on behind closed doors. We don't know what's going on in their bedroom. We don't know what type of what type of disagreement or irreconcilable differences that the two individuals may have had. But I find it mighty strange that you wait up until he's damn near a billion, a billionaire, if I'm not mistaken, close to it at least, off of headphones. Because don't get me wrong, his music was phenomenal. People were even waiting on the third chronic, but it was the headset, it was the beat by Dre that really opened up the floodgates for him making the money that he was worth, and making his net worth go up. I can't remember how much Dr. Dre is worth right off the top of my head, but he was worth a lot of money as soon as those headsets just took off. And then of course, there were other items that branched off of the head, off of the beats by Dre. But I find it mighty strange that after he became even more successful in that regard, I find it mighty strange that it was like I think that she was really out to get him. That's just my personal opinion. People can say what they want. People can be like, okay, well, we don't know what Dre was doing behind the scenes. He may have been, cheating, or, he may have been involved with another woman, or he may have been even abusive. Okay, I get all of that, but because of his past and because of his track record, people are gonna automatically assume that, okay, well, it's Dr. Dre's fault. Dr. Dre did this or Dr. Dre did that and everything. Well, I honestly don't think that that was the case this time, because he was in the hospital fighting for his life. I did a video on that. He was fighting for his life, and then all of a sudden, okay, yeah, you probably stuck around and everything. I'm even reluctant to say she probably was waiting for the man to pass away. She was probably waiting on the man to pass away. Now, I don't know in terms of, like the power of attorney, or who he has on the will and everything. I don't even know, because some some people, despite having their differences in a marriage and divorcing and everything, they still put their name on the will. But that wasn't the case for, like, a case like Don Cornelius. When Don Cornelius had passed away, when he had died, he actually he committed suicide, because I think he was having difficulties with his wife, and so that way she wouldn't be able to get the money, if that makes any sense. Because if you, from my understanding, if you commit suicide, and you have a will or whatnot, and that party that commits the suicide or whatnot, they're not able to get that will. They're not able to get that money. So I think that that's why Don Cornelius had did that. That's just what, from the word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, I don't mean to digress. We can't always assume that it's the man's fault. We can't always assume that it's the man's fault. It's just like with the situation with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. You know, Kanye West had, I think he had signed some sort of deal in which he was going to get the extra bag or whatnot. And then I find it mighty strange that, even though Kardashian and the Kardashians are well off and everything, but sometimes, man, it's always seeming like a an exit plan, or an escape plan, or some sort of strategy in order to get their money and be well off, and not have to deal with a rigorous marriage, or a rigorous relationship. If that's the case, y'all shouldn't have never even jumped the broom, or said I do, or did any of that until you were absolutely sure. You know, um, that's why, like, a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are against prenups, but you can understand why a lot of people do prenups. Okay, but then there's some people that's just like, well, I don't care about the material stuff, whatever. Just go ahead and have everything. I knew a friend that gave he gave his ex-wife, and he gave, of course, the kids, the house, and he went ahead and he struggled until he could get back on his feet. Hey, that was admirable. but you don't find a lot of guys. You don't find a lot of guys doing that sort of thing. You don't really find a lot of guys doing that sort of thing. Um, 300,000 a month. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's more. That's that's 6 digits. That's more than what some people will make in, I would say, five. Anywhere from 5 to 10 years. That's more than what some people make in a long time. Some people don't even, and I hate to be brutal like this, but some people don't even make that amount of money in their lifetime. Like that's insane. 300,000 dollars. But like, what do you possibly need for $300,000 a month? Like, you can't be suffering that bad. Like, in terms of pain and suffering, it can't be that bad. Not in my estimation. It cannot be that bad. If if it was that bad, if it was that bad, you should have you should have at least had the decency enough to be like, you know what? Well, um, I don't think that we should go further. Uh, you should have did this like a long time ago, but don't wait until, I find it mighty strange. Like, don't wait until the man's just got out of the hospital. Well, not just got out of the hospital. He's been out for quite some time, but he just into the groove of things and everything. And the only thing that you're thinking about is the money. I mean, he pretty much probably gave you everything that you needed and wanted. Because I mean, think about it. They don't have to want for anything, and certainly he damn sure doesn't need to want for anything if he's having to chunk out $300,000. But I get it though. We don't know. We don't always know the severity of the situation. We don't know the severity of the situation. There's a lot of cases that a lot of people don't really put their finger on, and they don't really say that much about, especially when it comes to behind. Some of these people have to take care of that other spouse's family member, such as the other parties, or the other spouse's mother-in-law might have to stay there, or father-in-law might have to stay there because they're sick or they're ill. They don't function the same. They're not they're mentally declining or whatnot, and they might have to stay there. And maybe she still wants to work a regular job. I'm like this. If you I'll put it like this. If you asking for $300,000, and let's say let's say you probably like lost your job or something like that, and you've been trying your best, really trying in your power to get a job, but there's just absolutely no place that will hire you or whatever, which I think is absolute bullshit, because you can get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it may not be the job that you want to, but if there's a case where you absolutely can't get any money, and then there are, because the kids are grown. Uh, Andre Young, they're grown from my understanding. So what do you need $300,000 for every month? That doesn't that makes that doesn't make any sense to me at all. It makes no sense whatsoever. Whatsoever, man. And see, a lot of these women out here are very wicked, man. They'll they'll plan this stuff for years, and the man might not even know it. And listen, I'm not trying to sit here and this isn't a video to down any of my queens or anything like that. Let's just get that straight. But I'm just keeping it facts. There's men and there's women like this, but mainly, in a situation like this, most of the women they're gonna want that money. It's all great when y'all get married in the beginning. It's all peaches and cream and stuff, and then when the hurt starts really setting in, and when the division really starts coming about, and when you really have a personal envy for that other person, then that's when you really become vindictive. That's when you become very very selfish, and that's when you become very revengeful. You want revenge by any means necessary. And what's the best way? One of the best ways to get revenge, through a person's pocket. Through a person's pocket. If you can get through a person's pocket, then 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be able to get to them mentally, because they're feeling like, okay, well, I can't, I don't have any financial means to take care of this, to take care of that, and so mentally they're going to be shot. And if they're mentally shot, that means they're going to fall into some sort of depression. And if they're depressed, then they're going to 9 times out of 10 they're going to be at their worst, and they'll possibly be coming back to that person. They'll come crawling back to that person. But when that person is well off, financially stable, and everything, their attitude is going to be much different. They're going to say, okay, well, she left me. Shoot, I don't have nothing to say to her. That's if they're financially, unstable. But I guarantee they'll even go back to their ex, and they'll be like, I need you and all this other stuff. And that's when the 9 times out of 10 the woman will become vulnerable, because as much as you put her through, and as much hurt and pain and suffering that you might have put her through, if y'all have a child together, then they'll start to think about that child, or they'll think about those children that you have together, and then she'll think in the back of her mind, well, I can't put the father of my kids out, or throw him under the bus or do anything. So he might be in there depressed. He might have alcohol problems and all of that other stuff. Might be homeless. Might need something to eat. But she still has a house. She's still well off. She's still working and everything. Still independent. Still taking care of what she needs to take care of. She'll let him right on in. Let him gather himself, and then that's when it starts happening again. They might even end up having sex again. They might end up having sex, right? And then that's when the rekindle aspect happens. But then the rekindle comes into reminder. It comes into a reminder. Then y'all are reminding each other, oh, okay, I remember why. Reminder and remembrance. You'll be reminded of, okay, this is the reason why we wasn't getting along in the first place. Then you'll come to the remembrance of, also, well, this is the reason why I stepped out of the relationship, because you wouldn't let me do this, or you wouldn't let me do that. And this was all after she might have felt sorry for him. You know, but I'm not gonna bash my fellas because there's a lot of women that do that sort of thing too. The women when y'all are so high and full of emotion and to the point where you have a ultimate rage for that person. You'll say some things and do some things that you don't necessarily you know want to do, but you're doing it because it's driven by emotion during that time. And so think about it now on the female end, she might be like, you know what, I'm good, I don't need you, or da 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 da, all that other stuff. And the guy was like, all right, and you know he's gonna stand on his principles. And let's say she falls off, and they don't even have to have kids. I'll take the kids out of the equation. They might have been together though 5 years, 5 6 years. That might have been his first love. She might have been his first love, and that might have that might have been her first love. They might have been high school sweethearts or something like that. Came up together organically, so to speak. And you run into a situation where she becomes depressed, she gets on drugs, but she brought it on herself. She probably will end up becoming a stripper or something like that. She probably end up getting into drugs and alcohol and everything. Then next thing you know, she can't take care of her finances. Uh, all sort of things happen to her credit. Uh, she gets she gets stuff taken away. What's up? What's up with it, Hitman? Hey, you can chime in if you want to, though, brother. She gets stuff taken away and everything, and then all of a sudden she comes back. You doing good. You even have a relationship that you're in. You're in a solid relationship. She sees that you're happy. Well, guess what? You're gonna see her. She's all worn out. I'm not gonna say busted and disgusted because you know what I'm saying. I don't like to throw a whole lot of women under the bus like that. You know what I'm saying? But she might look that way, and then next thing you know, that man ends up feeling sorry because he's thinking in the back of his mind. He's like, man, I that was my first love at one point. I really love her. I really care about her, man. I can't see her suffering. She probably don't have she don't know where her next meal is coming from, and then he brings her back in. He brings her back into the into the house and everything. And he's like, you know what? Gather yourself, get yourself together, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You need to shower, all that other stuff, and then there you go. That's when it starts all over again. For like the first couple weeks or whatever, they might not. It just might be little small talk. Might not even have much to say to each other. But then they might get into a heavy dialogue, a heavy conversation over dinner or something like that. Then they rekindle. Then it comes with the rekindle. Then it comes with the reminder and the remembrance. y'all end up smashing. The sex is good and everything like that. Y'all laying there cuddling and y'all, in his mind, he's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? And in her mind, she's like, you think we could possibly do something, try to rekindle this again, and then something comes up like a reminder of what the past, what she might have cheated or he might have cheated or something like that. Then the argument happens, and then y'all back to square one again, and y'all be like, you know what? That's the reason why I left you in the first place. Then you back to the same old thing. You back to the same old thing. So it happens a lot. They probably have been separated. I'm talking about Dr. Dre and Nicole. I'm not for sure if they were separated, but a lot of times these marriages and stuff, they might just be getting a divorce, but they might have been separated for years. It happens like that. So one or both of the parties might have even moved on. I know a case where they didn't even get divorced yet, and the other woman had got pregnant. The other woman had got pregnant by another guy, and she was still married to that other man. They hadn't even gotten divorced yet, and then on top of that, she had kids by the other guy. It was just it's just stuff like that. That's just a big old mess. And as human beings, sometimes you gotta wonder, like, why do you even put yourself into situations like that? But desire and deception have a fine line between each other. Think about it. Desire and deception. They have a fine line between each other. Women, a woman to a man's eyes, especially an attractive woman, is extremely desirable. And some guys can't fight the feeling of lust. They think that it's actually love. They think that they're actually in love, but 9 times out of 10, it's just lust. It might not even be the way necessarily how she looks all the time. Sometimes it could be the words that she says, or you know the stuff that she does for you, or something like that. That says, man, she's making me give all of my power to her, or something like that, right? But then there comes the deception, because in the back of one or both of the parties' mind, guess what? That man is like, you know what? I'm gonna do this for her. I'm gonna do this little thing for a few, and then after that, then I'm gonna have me an escape plan. I got to do this, or I got to do that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and they'll have an escape plan and be plotting and strategizing the whole time, and you don't even know it. You got to watch out for those type of people, man. Even before you become successful, and then afterwards, it happens like that. A lot of people, they're like, in the beginning they have all these plans. They have all these plans. They they try to they have all these goals and these aspirations for the relationship. Uh, they always tell each other, man, I'm never gonna go with anybody else, or you're the only one for me, and all this other stuff. But you always got to be. It's sad in this society, especially, but you always got to be prepared. You always got to be prepared. You don't know what intentions. Listen, you can't control that woman, or you can't control that man of what they want to do, because they're, at the end of the day, they are still a human being, and they still have a choice whether they want to be with you or not. You can't make anybody want to be with you, and it's sad. That's just what it is. Now, in this case right here, I think that this was real savage. Like, $300,000 a month. That's savage at its best. That, for real. That's, man. That's that's straight savage right there. That's worse than who was it? I think it was Gucci Man, or Guwap. He had to pay so many thousands a month for child support. Shoot, that's, man. This blows it out of the water, and This don't have nothing to do with the kids. Ain't no pain and suffering that much. Ain't no pain and suffering worth that much. For real. There is not. There is no pain and suffering that is worth that much. Seriously. So Dr. Dre, man, I mean, I can't even front, man. I feel for the brother. You know what I'm saying? Some people like, okay, well, yeah, he's a millionaire. He'll be all right and everything like that, or billionaire, whatever you want to call it. Because I don't know his net worth status or anything. But I mean, he's still gonna be hurting. Like you lose $300,000, man, as a millionaire, man. That's gonna hurt your pocket. Yeah, Kevin Garnett too. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I forgot about Kevin Garnett. Right. I forgot how much did Kevin Garnett have to pay to Hitman X? Because I remember that too. I forgot about KG. And they had problems for quite some time too. And they have I think they got what, I think a daughter. I'm not quite sure on the children, but but still, man, that, yeah, it was like, you see what I'm saying? 60 million. But see, shoot, man. But this is 300,000 Hitman. $300,000 monthly. Oh man, you see that that's crazy. And look, more people are gonna look at the male because of how human society is. More people are gonna look at the male as the evil doer, as the evil doer. They're gonna look at him as the bad guy. And with Dr. Dre's track record, because I don't know about KG, I don't know about his track record. I don't know what went on in their relationship behind the scenes. But I know that Dr. Dre hasn't been the best husband and or significant other in previous relationships. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, and let's keep it a buck. Um, his track record hasn't been the best in the world. Matter of fact, him and his son were at odds. I think they still are at odds, to my understanding. And matter of fact, I think his son is in a new movie or something like that. I forgot, but anyways, man, they're gonna go by your track record. They're gonna go by your track record, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm not surprised. He deserves that." And also, a lot of people feel like it could be bad karma, could be a boomerang effect. So, listen, man. At the end of the day, man, you really gotta understand what you're doing, who you're with, and if you don't have some sort of spiritual connection, your relationship is already gonna be toxic. I'm not saying telling you what to believe in or who to believe in or anything like that. Because I'm not trying to get up here and preach to anybody. What you choose to believe in, that's on you. But if you don't have some sort of spiritual guidance or spiritual connection within your relationship is already going to be toxic. You can do everything that you can, but your marriage is going to be toxic, and it could come in many different forms and many different angles, and you won't even see it. And you have to understand that's not going to be short term. It's going to be a long term effect, especially if you have children by the, if y'all have children in a relationship with one another, So, like this video, share it, uh, subscribe. I want to thank Hitman X all day, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my boy Hitman X if y'all get a chance to listen to this video. He has a dope channel. Always got a good basketball mind. Hey, and I like the video that you did, Hitman X, on Jalen versus Kuzma. I'm gonna give my take on that. I was gonna do a response video because you talked about it and True the King talked about it too. I kind of want to give my take on it too, because I had talked about that a while back in one of my other videos a while back. But nevertheless, man, go sub to their channels, man. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Until then, man, it's Polo Sports Talking ENT. I'll get at y'all later.